So some exciting news. Our executive budget stays under the state mandated tax cap for the 8th straight year in a row. Does not increase the tax rate. The 3rd year in a row, the average property owner will see a tax decrease. Balanced budget is just over $719.3 million, which is $13 million less than last year. Last year's budget was roughly $733 million. This year's budget is going to be $719, a decrease again of $13 million in our budget. The average house of $150,000 will see a dollar decrease. Sorry, it wasn't more, but we're not increasing, we're decreasing. Wish we could have done more, but again, we're trying to do the best we can in the COVID-19 world, in the economy crisis that we're in. Not to bore everyone on the tax rate, last several years, Albany County tax rate, 1,000 of equal assessed value has gone down from $3.95 to $3.48 since 2014. There are no layoffs or program cuts of any services in Albany County next year. There's no use of budget gimmicks. This is a straight up budget. And again, no layoffs. And both with a global health crisis and economy crisis, I would say that is a well-delivered budget. If you look at how we achieved this since 2012, diligent work, paying down debt while adding money to our reserves. Did I know in 2012 when I took over with roughly around 20 million reserves and doubled it? I was planning for something, but I didn't know what that something was. And that's why when you build up reserves and you have a rainy day fund, it's there when people need you the most. I learned at my time in the legislature that you have to look at things that are unforeseen. It's nice to try to give tax breaks or at least keep taxes flat like we did for 8 years. Now people need us the most, and this is when we're delivering the most challenging budget I have delivered in my 9 years as county executive, almost 9 in January. I thought 2012, when I took over in 2012 and going from delivering my 2013 budget was difficult. We amortized $38 million to the state controller for retirement for county workers. We had union contracts that weren't negotiated for up to 6 years. We were borrowing $15 million to make payroll. And it taught me a lesson my time in the legislature and my time now as county executive of getting ready for a scenario like this and being prepared. We still need our stimulus bill on a national level. I will be going down to DC next week to lobby for that stimulus package. There's a lot of things we incurred with our health department, the EPI, the overtime, the PPE. I could just go on and on. The overtime in the sheriff's department, the sheriff doing a great job with EOC, the stuff we had to do. And yet delivering a budget that is going to stay within their means. Sales tax is down 6.33%, and hotel occupancy tax is down 33.3%. Some of the things we did to help us to get to where we're at. I did one thing early on. We started the hiring committee. I want to thank our controller, Sue Rizzo, our budget director, Sean Thalen, our HR director, Jen Clement, who sat on that committee. We slowed the hiring process down, which saved us hundreds, if not millions of dollars for this year alone. We offered employees an early separation. Didn't mean they had to retire, they had to leave county government. We had over 100 people put in for it. But we had to work with our HR commissioners, we had to work with the commissioners of the departments, the supervisors, to make sure that was a function that we could absorb if we got rid of the position. So we had well over 100, we gave it to 72 employees. We identified 72 employees that could be absorbed in them departments and not have in their budgets next year, to a $5 million savings alone for next year once we get through all the buyouts and everything else that we did. So that's roughly going to be about $5 million. Again, by having a reserves that we built up at any given time into $60 million, We used $3 million. We used $8 million total to offset our budget too. $3 million in fund balance of the $60 million that has been built up, as well as $5 million from debt reserves to offset the hotel hot tax, to offset the Times Union not delivering on money, and obviously the casino and everything else that we anticipated that was going to come in. So I do say to everyone, these are things that we have to continue to do. No services are being cut, none whatsoever. And we're staying committed to the land bank. We put $250,000 into the land bank, which now gives us over $3 million commitment that we put into the land bank, plus assessed value property that they have in the millions. Staying committed to blight in this county and stopping blight. The other thing, this is the third year in a row that the statewide implementation of the Harrell Herring Indigent Legal Defense Reform, championed by my office, written by my office, signed by the governor, thank you Pat Fahey and everyone else, that is giving us positions so people that don't have money get a fair shake at the criminal justice system. So these positions that have been created in these departments, alternate public defender's office and public defender's office, is 100% reimbursable through this and will continue. The other thing I do want to say is a huge thank you to Sheriff Apple for rolling up his sleeves and working with us. Yes, we had some great arguments, but at the end of the day, he's always got that his priority is public safety and continues to do a great job, but with the balance of the budget and the taxpayers of Albany County. So I have to give him a huge thank you. Sue Rizzo, our county controller, who worked with us through this whole process. When we were looking to put out $27 million in bonds this year, we knocked it down to $4 million and set a lot of new policies under her since she's taken over. Meet with her every week. It's been refreshing. And Bruce Hidley, our county clerk. All three elected officials that gave up positions in their office and rolled up their sleeves to help us with this difficult time. I can't thank you enough. People have to remember 80% of our budget is mandated, 80%. The majority of which is unfunded, 60% from the state and feds, mandates, and another 20% of our local laws, resolutions, and charters, which makes it difficult. That's why always on the back of the budget, I put down what goes up and what goes down. Local spending and mandates go up. These are things we can't change. The state tells us how we're going to run this, how we're going to go forward, and doesn't give us the money. So, again, it makes things very, very difficult. One of the other things, again, we kept in there, and we've been negotiating with the unions. There's 19 unions, give or take, in Albany County. And we've been at the table, and we ran out of time because I'm mandated under the charter to deliver my budget today. So we ran out of time negotiating with the unions. So we're continuing that dialogue going through this year into next year. We're adding the 2% raises that we have to under the union contracts for the union workers and adding 2% in the budget for the non-union workers. Everyone gets held to the same level in government that I here in Albany County, so we're treating everyone the same as we go forward. So that's included in this also. So again, I do want to thank Sean Fallon, the whole budget department, and Dan Lynch, and my whole office. We were kind of like joking around last night because we spent the whole weekend here around the clock working on the budget and trying to get it delivered for today. But dealing with the health crisis and economy crisis at the same time, the lack of time off and sleep and trying to deliver what we can, I feel we did that for the people because I stand by the fact that we need to continue to deliver our quality of services people are used to, improve on them services, but be there in time and need of the residents of Albany County. This budget does that, the $719 million, without raising taxes, giving breaks, and using very little of our reserves. And I do want to thank the legislature for that, helping me with the reserves over the years, the leadership of the ledge, in making it happen. One of the things we have to look at going forward is the college tuition that we have to pay. That bill's going up roughly $500,000 versus last year was roughly $10.5 million to over $11 million now. These are things that we have to lobby together, working with the leadership of the legislature, working with legislators to champion And again, I will say this, working in a partnership, because in a partnership we can get this done. I look forward to sitting down with the Chair of Audit and Finance, Wanda Willingham, and Andrew Joyce, and Dennis Feeney, and Frank Marinello, and all the leaders in the legislature and the legislators in general, to continue to roll up our sleeves. And by working together, we can continue to do no tax increase, no layoffs, no cuts in programs or services, and that's what government's about, working for the people, getting the job done. So again, I'm so proud of everyone. I want to say thank you to my team. It is not possible without a team effect, and really planning for the worst case scenario, and it shows here in our budget. This isn't predicting the 20% we could lose from the state of New York next year. This isn't saying if we don't get our stimulus package from the federal government, some things will change next year. And I'm hoping that we're not going to go down that road. But right now, I'm going to say thank you to the men and women of Albany County workforce that deliver these services and that continue to help us move forward. Thank you so much to the legislature.